News from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Israel has defeated half of Hamas's forces in Gaza. The IDF is also keeping a close eye on the threat from Hezbollah in the north.
Well, Iranian-backed militia have attacked yet another U.S. base in the Middle East, and the Pentagon is planning more strikes in retaliation. Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem.
Iranian-backed militia continue to carry out attacks in the region, despite the U.S. launching dozens of strikes over the weekend in retaliation for the deaths of 3 U.S. service members. An attack near a U.S. base in Syria killed 6 members of a U.S.-allied Kurdish militia. The Pentagon said more strikes against Iran's proxies are coming.
This is the start of our response, and there will be additional actions taken to hold the IRGC and affiliated militias accountable for their attacks on U.S. and coalition forces.
Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Saudi's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman Monday. It's Blinken's 5th Mideast visit since the war in Gaza. He faces major challenges. Hamas and Israel are at odds over a potential truce, and Israel dismissed calls for a Palestinian state. The UN announced it's launched an independent review of UNRWA after reports that its workers took part in the October 7th massacre. The IDF says it's raided the Hamas headquarters in Khan Yunis and found training materials for the October 7th attacks. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told IDF soldiers Israel has defeated more than half of Hamas's forces in Gaza, including 18 of 24 brigades. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant says Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar is on the run.
Sinwar moves from hiding place to hiding place. He is unable to communicate with his surroundings, and in recent days, IDF fighters have found materials in the places he has been recently. And thanks to them, we are improving our operations, deepening our grip on Hamas plans.
Gallant also warned that Israel is prepared to take action against Hezbollah on its northern border if diplomacy fails.
Hezbollah will not be able to threaten the residents of Israel through raids or through direct fire. I say here explicitly and unequivocally, if the political move does not succeed, we will not hesitate to use military force for the return of the residents safely to their homes.
Currently, about 80,000 Israelis have left their homes on Israel's northern border.
We all abandoned our homes, our businesses, everything. And that's it. The city is deserted. Scared people.
In case of war, hospitals in the north are preparing underground wards.
Well, Chris Mitchell joins us now from our Jerusalem bureau. So, Chris, tell us, what does Israel need to do to finish the goal of eliminating Hamas?
Well, Gordon, first of all, they nearly completed their goal of controlling Khan Yunis, one of the major strongholds in the south of Gaza. The next major goal is going further south to Rafah. And that's significant, Gordon, because it's the last major Hamas stronghold in Gaza, but it's also going to be very sensitive. One, because many refugees have already fled there, more than 1 million. And some Hamas terrorists have actually infiltrated in those refugees and will be using them as human shields. And the other reason is because it's really on the Egyptian border. And Egypt has said it really doesn't want any Palestinians flooding into Egypt. And another goal is as it was reported in our story, the capture of the head of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar. Fiercely devoted to destroying Israel, killing Jews, one of the masterminds of October 7th. And he would have tremendous symbolic value if Israel can kill or capture him, be a major blow to the remaining Hamas fighters. But he also, Gordon, he controls the fate of the hostages. And it's likely that he has many living hostages near him as human shields. He's been in the negotiations for their release, but it does sound like the IDF is getting very close to him. And they're reporting that he's just trying to survive and he's lost control of Hamas right now.
What's your prediction here on the length of time necessary to eliminate Hamas, secure Gaza, stop the terrorist attacks to Israel? Is there any kind of time frame? Can anyone predict how long this is going to take?
Well, the IDF has been saying for a while it's going to take months, but actually, Gordon, I think it's actually going to take less time than that. I think they're going, their goals are actually going fairly well. And you have to realize that what they're fighting, Gordon, is a warfare that has never been done before. They're fighting above the ground and they're fighting below the ground. And some military historians said they're going to be studying what the IDF has done here for many, many years. And so, but I think they may be actually closer to what many people may think. And then, Gordon, many people say there's going to be an insurgency phase where people are actually, insurgents, Hamas terrorists are going to infiltrate into the civilian population, and that may take a lot longer.
Okay. Well, turning to the northern border, there's signs that Hezbollah will agree to Israeli demands. I think lost in this whole narrative of southern Lebanon is the UN set up a demilitarized zone. There aren't supposed to be any military assets, any troops, any tunnels in this area of Lebanon, but here they are. So is Hezbollah going to pull back from the border?
Well, it seems unlikely right now, and war kind of does seem inevitable. One person in the north said on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 15 for actually going to war. The IDF said in a briefing the other day that they're ready for peace, but preparing for war defensively, offensively, in their preparedness. And their goal is to change the security situation in the north. As we reported, there's about 80,000 Israelis that can't go home. And the strategic goal right now, overall for the IDF, focus on Gaza, finish what they can, their major goals, and then turns toward the north and Hezbollah. And those diplomatic efforts that you were talking about, Gordon, you're right. In Resolution 1701 said back in 2006, after the Second Lebanon War, that there could be no military infrastructure except for the Lebanese army and UNIFIL. And that really is not worth the paper it's written on right now, because Hezbollah has flooded South Lebanon. That's their major stronghold. Maybe 150,000 rockets, many of them precision guided. So if when war breaks out, Gordon, it's going to be very, very dangerous for all of Israel, because these missiles can go all the way through all of Israel. Really an important time to be praying for the peace of Jerusalem and all of Israel.
What's the danger for the U.S.? It looks like the conflict is widening pretty dramatically just over the past 48 hours with attacks on U.S. troops, now yet another attack, and then the response from U.S. military, it looks like it's increasing. Are we in danger of a much broader war throughout the region?
It does seem like that way, Gordon. You know how you have the Houthis right now in the Red Sea that are disrupting global trade. That can't be something that you can live with. And then those attacks on the U.S. bases in Syria and Iraq. And it does seem like Iran is not going to stop these attacks through their proxies, the Iranian-backed militias in Iraq and Syria. They're not going to stop Hezbollah, likely. So it looks like there's a brewing confrontation between not only these proxies of Iran throughout the region, but maybe even Iran itself. And we'll see what happens. But it does look like it is escalating right here in the Middle East, Gordon.
Well, it's time to issue a call to prayer, so I'll do that. For you watching at home, this is a time to pray. It's a time to pray not just for the peace of Israel, the peace for the entire region. And we will not escape this. If it turns into a much wider war, we'll be right in the middle of it.